So it's already Q2. You promised yourself you would read a lot of books. You haven't, actually. Well, I'm here to help you. Getting into books is hard, especially today. Like, you're busy with school, you're busy with work. Maybe you're just busy scrolling on your phone. This is not a new experience at all. I've been there, I've done that. Last year specifically, I didn't read that many books. Disappointingly so, because I love to read. I think it regulates my emotions better. I sleep better at night. Again, not new experiences, not new claims, but reading is just such a joy. And once you're there, you're locked in. It's the best thing ever. My approach to books is different now. Like, I don't waste time reading a book if I don't like it. And this is cheesy, but I was a 2014 Tumblr girl. And in the words of John Green, books belong to their readers. And I feel like the right book will find you at the right time. I remember, like, I wanted to read Catcher in the Rye when I was 12. Like, I felt so strongly, like, oh my God, I need to read this right now. Wasn't the right time. I got probably like 10 pages in. By the time I hit 14, I kid you not, I read it in one sitting. And it was so transformative. Like, is Holden a complete ass? And if I read it right now, it would be the wrong time to be reading that book. Absolutely. But books belong to their readers at the right time. Another example of this was when I read Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I started it when I was like 15 maybe. And I was like, oh, I'm really not into this. I picked it up when I was 17. And again, it was like 2 sittings and it was amazing. I think you just need to be, more lenient when it comes to like sticking to a book or not. You can't be too committed. Like, you should be like a slutty boy going through books. And if you don't like the book, don't let the book finish. Just say bye-bye. That was very bad. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'll keep that in. But anyway, these are the books I loved. Okay, first book. You've probably seen this book already and you're like, okay, this is useless. I'm going to skip this part. Go ahead. I don't blame you. But The Secret History is so good. Like, I didn't realize how good it was up until I read it. And again, it found me at the right time because when I first started reading this, like 2022, I ordered it from Bookends and Beginnings, which is like an Instagram store online, because I really like this cover and this cover isn't available like in the Philippines. Grabbed it right away. I read it like the first chapter, 2022, the first paragraphs like reel you in, but then after the protagonist like explains his financial situation and it drags a bit, and so I was like, okay, I'm not in the mood for this. Picked it up first week of the year, and it was like the perfect weather. It was like cold. I was like curled up in my blanket on my bed, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. For context, Donna Tartt and the author of American Psycho, I forget his name, but anyway, they were friends and they would critique each other's work. So if you want a little psycho session, read this. It's so good. It follows this guy named Richard, and he joins this elite private school and he studies the Greek classics. But it's so much more than that. I feel like the best way to describe this book is like it's a babushka doll. You open it, there's another crazy surprise. And you open it some more, it goes around in circles in a way where you're like, where is this headed? And I feel like the best thing to do is go in blind. Like, I didn't even read the synopsis in the back. And it was the best decision I've ever made. Like, sometimes you just should go into a book blind. And this is one of those. The second book is for my third culture kids. I love a good third culture kid. My mom is a third culture kid. My best friend is a third culture kid. My boyfriend is a third culture kid. I love all the third culture kids. I don't know why exactly. I think it's because I was raised with such interesting perspectives and views on the world, and I've surrounded myself with that. So I'm biased towards the third culture kid. And the female protagonist in this book is a third culture kid. And she basically gets into this private program as a government agent, which works with the Ministry of Time. So basically, she has to acclimate Victorian-era man to the modern day or near future of London. And she's English Cambodian. It explores like a lot of just diaspora and identity and history, how much we should draw from history and how much we should deviate from it. And it was just such a good book. And I read it right after The Secret History, and I was like, oh my God, I really like this. I feel like the ending didn't have a clear resolution, and I know that was the authorial intent, but I feel like it would have been more satisfying if we had a clearer epilogue. But either way, if you love the third culture kid, if you love history, if you love things set in London, I highly, highly recommend. The next 2 books I read, I do not have with me right now. I read I Feel Bad About My Neck by Nora Ephron. Oh, I love Nora Ephron. I have a thing for Jewish divorcees in New York who are comedians or write comedy, because I love Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So if you like Gilmore Girls, you'll like Nora Ephron because she writes in the same cadence and like Pace as Amy Sherman Palladino, who was the showrunner and writer of Gilmore Girls, and she wrote The Marvelous Miss Maisel. And so Midge reminds me so much of Nora Ephron, and I love how confessional it is. It feels like a diary of a 60-year-old woman who's lived a full life. And I love that the title's I Feel Bad About My Neck because it examines aging, right? One of the first things to go when you age is your hands or your neck. Like, you can't change that. Like, you can get a facelift and then they can pull from your neck. But surgically, like, they can't just fix your neck and not touch your face. And so that was the essay. And she discusses basically how age has changed her and the fact that she can't go back. If she tries to go back, if she tries to reverse the process of her aging neck, she'll have to change so many things about her face. And it becomes introspective from there. And I feel like it's such a good read because it's only 200 pages, like the entire short story collection. And she talks about so many things and it's so poignant. And if you really love Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, I feel like her writing was heavily inspired by I Feel Bad About My Neck by Nora Ephron. And I love Nora Ephron. She wrote When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail, all of that jazz. That Nora Ephron. I'm so obsessed with her. I got more books. Wait, her complete collection. And I got this coffee table book. Woo! I got this coffee table book, Nora at the Movies. It cost a pretty penny, but I was like, you know what? It's so beautiful. I'm obsessed with her. I need to learn more from her. Some quotes from I Feel Bad About My Neck from Nora Ephron. They are so good. I'm gonna read them out loud. Things change in New York. Things change all the time. You don't mind this when you're living here, when you live here. It's a part of the caffeinated romance of the city that never sleeps. But when you move away, you experience change as a betrayal. And I feel like this isn't just about New York. This is about change in general. Like, for example, I don't live, like, in my house most of the time because I'm in my dorm. And I see it on both sides where I feel like some of my family members feel like it's betrayal that they're not in my everyday life. And I also feel like it's betrayal for some of my family members that I'm not part of their everyday life. And I hear little discussions or little changes and I'm like, oh my God, why am I not a part of that? And I think she encapsulates it so well. This one is about jokes. I love it. When you slip on a banana peel, people laugh at you. But when you tell people you slipped on a banana peel, it's your laugh. So you become the hero rather than the victim of the joke. And I love that. It's about owning stuff. And again, she's just such a wise woman where I'm like, wow, you said that. She talks about things where you should just own being sexy. Like, she's so funny. She's like, oh, how I regret not having worn a bikini the entire time or the entire year I was 26. If anyone young is reading this, go right this minute. Put on a bikini and don't take it off until you're 34. She's so funny. And honestly, slay. What I love also is she talks about how much she loves reading in one of her essays, and this is what she has to say. Reading is everything. Reading makes me feel like I've accomplished something, learned something, become a better person. Reading makes me smarter. Reading gives me something to talk about later on. Reading is the unbelievably healthy way my attention deficit disorder medicates itself. Reading is escape, and the opposite of escape. It's a way to make contact with reality after a day of making things up. It's a way of making contact with someone else's imagination after a day that's all too real. Reading is grist. Reading is bliss. What? Like, I wish I wrote that. Like, she gets it. She gets it. So this is about her friend who passed away, and it makes me so sad. And she talks about mortality a lot, especially towards the latter end of the story collection. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so sad, but it's also so real. I want to talk to her. I want to have lunch with her. I want her to give me a book she read and loved. My phantom limb, and I can't believe I'm here without her. That made me so sad. Anyway, if that doesn't convince you, I don't know what will. Okay, the second book I read was actually a reread because, again, the thesis statement of this video is that books belong to their readers and books will find you at the right time. I read Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I read it when it first came out in the pandemic. I was like, yeah, okay, it's good, whatever. Really addictive writing. I did not understand how good it actually was. I can't. Like, I finished it so fast and I had I don't know. I can't even articulate how good the book was because it just swept me up. And so it's about two best friends, Alice and Eileen, and they're in their late 20s and they reference stuff in like early 20s and they're in relationships. And so Alice is a very successful writer and she ends up with this guy who's kind of like just a factory worker, and it talks about that relationship dynamic. And the character foil of that would be Eileen, and this guy she's kind of been seeing, who she had a situationship with, who was also her childhood best friend, but he's like way older. As they get older, obviously their relationship evolves into a romantic one, and it's just so interesting to see how he's the one with more power in the relationship, and Eileen is the one that has less power in the relationship because of economic constraints, because of where she's at in her career, in contrast to Alice, who just skyrocketed into success. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're happy. She just writes so perfectly. Like, there was this one text exchange in the book where Eileen is teasing Felix, saying, don't even make everything in lowercase. And he's like, why would I make everything in lowercase? My settings to turn off like the punctuation. And it's this really interesting thing where it's like, if you're talking to a millennial and you're a Gen Z, it's just such an oddly specific thing that Sally Rooney encapsulated so well. If you are in your early 20s, your mid 20s, if you're in your 20s in general, I highly recommend this book. It talks about relationship dynamics oh so well. I'm obsessed. I read Sunrise at the Reaping. This, I demand reparations. It's not a niche recommendation, but I feel like the people who would like it have already read it. If you read Hunger Games as a kid, I highly recommend. Because again, like, Haymitch's games are discussed in Catching Fire. So if you read that as a kid, this is about his games, and you think you know everything, but it's about how the media distorts everything. And I feel like it's such a relevant book today, especially with elections, senatorial elections coming up in the Philippines. You should really read this, okay? Because the media is distorting a lot of things, and I think we should all educate ourselves. And I love that she references George Orwell. It talks about complacency within, government, especially authoritarian regimes, the Philippines. So, very good book. I cried. Finished it in like 2 days. Deep Cuts. This is like if Normal People and Daisy Jones and the Six had a baby. I can't stop thinking about this book. It's crazy. And what I love is how she examines the almost genius. When you love something enough that you have so much insight and you have so much to offer the subject, but then you're not good enough or talented enough to actually play a pivotal role in it. And the protagonist, Percy, talks about how she's not naturally good at music, but she wants to be a songwriter, and it's about her relationship or situationship with this guy named Joe, who ends up becoming a mid or like moderately successful, singer. And she talks about yearning for talent. And it's just so good. Like, I wrote some thoughts on it. I'm gonna pull them out because, like, I don't think I can do this book justice. Oh my god. So this book is gonna be adapted into a film. The male protagonist will be Austin Butler, and the female protagonist will be Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse Ronan. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Anyway, so good. I can totally see this becoming a movie. It's about two students in Berkeley who love music, and it's about their lives intertwine within the span of like almost a decade. Like, common theme, I think, in this book that is captivated so well is inexperience, whether that's inexperience in relationships, inexperience in your own craft, like writing. Another theme I think that's examined so beautifully in this book is envy, right? The envy of wanting to be more experienced than everyone else, whether that's in your career, in your personal life, and this yearning to want to be and do so many things that you can't. And the music, mwah, top tier. Like, it was so good. The music was so good. And so I would listen to the music, like, because the song is like per chapter. I would listen to the song while reading the chapter. It was so good. Anyway, highly recommend. The dialogue in this book is so out of pocket. I was gagged. For like a good chunk of the book. I was like, oh my god. Anyway, that's it. Those are all the books I recommend. I feel like I've yapped too much. But yeah, let me know if you want me to do another book review. Bye.